Hey nudist, I'm Nick Bate, and today I'm going to show you some stuff. Sometimes performing analingus on children is the right thing to do. FBI, open up!
I want to warn you of the disgusting, horrific, and mildly entertaining content ahead. If that sounds enjoyable to you, grab your candles and your crosses, and pray we make it out the other side. Something to note before I begin, Nick has an autobiography where he details his version of the events of his life, which no doubt is entertaining, but isn't exactly reliable. I mention it in case you're looking for an on-the-scene how-to guide to end up in prison. Nicholas Stoutzenberger, a devout Christian, wannabe Canadian, and chronic predator, was born on September 1st, 1992, which makes him nearly 32 years old now. Ever since the beginning of his online presence, a problem following Nick's life was his complete lack of dental hygiene. He vocalized his paranoia that dentists would slit his throat, and that threat of execution kept him away from dental health entirely. I wanted to mention his dental health right off, so throughout this entire video, you can see everything happen and know that his mouth is rotting on top of it all. Nick's first point of note on the internet was when he was about 12 years old. He was obsessed with this flash animation website called Homestar Runner. This site allowed for the creation of little animations that looked straight out of coolmathgames.com, and Nick loved it. It was through these sites that he met a girl named Anna, a girl who kinda led him on but ultimately rejected Nick. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a small, odd little quirk Nick Bate has. For some reason, he types in a fake Canadian accent, like he types A in a boot in conversation like he's got Canadian Tourette's. It's far from Nick's most harmful trait, but I'm just legitimately confused as to why you would type out the word a boot. As Nick chats with Anna online, something becomes very apparent. Nick loves butthole. And butthole alone. He believes that vaginal sex is nasty and would prefer to sew women's genitalia shut if he could. It's this turbulent infatuation with assholes that later leads to some truly horrific behavior. After Nick and Anna had been chatting for a while, she started to distance herself from him, blocking him for days at a time every time he pissed her off or weirded her out, until on August 23rd, 2008, she would block him for good. Thank God. The next part is pretty bad, so have your barf bags ready. Anna exposes the messages that got Nick blocked forever. Nick explains that he's kind of a pedo and that a girl coerced him into sexual acts. Anna asked what that means. Nick explains that an 8-year-old sucked his penis and then proceeds to call her a rapist at 8 years old. Then Nick goes on to say, oh, holy fuck. She doesn't know how to wipe, so when I went to lick her butt, there was feces everywhere. So I just licked the cheeks instead. Let's continue, I guess. Anna reveals that this person is Nick's 8-year-old half-sister. Yeah. Anna tries to come down on him about it, but it goes completely over his head, with Nick being upset because he didn't get to lick her anus. They then go on to talk about anus together in a separate conversation, and honestly, I'm starting to turn on Anna a little bit. Like, she's here making jokes about Nick f***ing children and laughing. I would consider this enabling behavior, but that's just me. To skip forward a bit, Nick reveals another silly little quirk he has. He hates bathing. Not like normal gamer behavior. Like, he describes how there was semen and grime layered onto his body and in his hair before his father forced him to shower. Nick gives us a tour of his room, which seems fairly innocuous until we graze over the collection of shrines to Anna in his room, who had permanently blocked him by this point. To conclude the tour, Nick graciously shows us the collection of items he puts up his ass.
Ow. Here's a bathroom. There's a toilet. There's a plunger that I use as a butt plug. There's a mirror. This is usually where I take pictures of myself. There's a sink. Here's some baby oil that I use as a lube for jacking off with, or for putting things in my butt. What do you want, Captain?
Maybe this was less out of pleasure and more out of training to exercise his prison wallet. Nick reaches back out to Anna with a generic weird guy miss you text. Then someone texts Nick telling him never to text Anna again. They come off a bit tough guy cringe, but their heart is in the right place. He just explains that Anna hates Nick, and Nick counters with the classic, but she can change her mind. Spoiler alert, she did not change her mind. Here is where things start to unravel. In one of Nick's online journals, he said that he had heard Anna claim something horrible about him, to which he says, "I'm hoping she lied. I'm really hoping she lied. Oh God, if she's not lying, everything is ruined forever." Later down the line, we come to understand how much of a copperfile Nick is, with his messages to another girl named Maddie reading as follows. "Maddie, will you be my wiping mentor? Do you wipe sitting or standing? How much paper do you use? Do you crumple or fold? What fingers do you use? What motion do you use? Like up and down? Side to side? In a circle? The way you clean CDs? Oh, also, which hand? Also, do you reach a rune to your back or through your legs? How many strokes? How many sheets?" Let's skip forward a couple years. Let's keep in mind these skips are still filled with poop tweet after pedo tweet, talking about loving Anna, talking about wiping poop everywhere, but in order to keep this video from becoming a Bo Black's knockoff, we're gonna move into some of the real events. In 2015, something unexpected happened. Nick's sister came out to his family about the abuse and molestation she had sustained at the hands of Nick as a young girl. And Nick says in his defense, "Another thing is that if I were to molest someone, it'd be anal, and it doesn't seem like she's accusing me of that." So, even when Nick is in the shit, he is still, for the lack of better words, in the shit. The news spread even to his own town, with someone spray painting "Pedo Get Out" on his house. Nick says he was greeted with a visit from a detective, and he doubled down on not confessing to molesting his sister. Although it seemed the police had not yet been fooled, Nick had just come up with the ultimate way to prove his innocence. You ready for this? I promise you aren't. He explains how he recorded a video of him saying that the chat logs are fake because he loves poop. Poop would not stop him from licking the butthole of his 8-year-old half-sister. I know what you're thinking. How does he plan to show the detective that he loves poop? Well, dear viewer, he recorded a video of himself masturbating with his penis covered in feces and sent it to his unassuming, innocent, poor local detective. And not that it makes a difference, but it just adds a bit more perversion to me knowing this. The detective was a woman. But hey, how about some good news? This information appeared on the internet not long after this whole debacle. It details 1 count of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse with a child and 3 counts of indecent assault to a person less than 13 years of age. His bail was set at $150,000, as it would seem his video was not nearly as persuasive as he might have thought. The court date was set, and one of our internet friends decided to attend. He captured some of the first pictures seen of Nick in months. This same poster attended the trial, to which he describes looked like this. Poster saw assured internet onlookers that he would have a full report to make once he got home. Let me read you his report. In the courts now, so can't take pictures. Nick's B-mom and aunt are both here in support. They're discussing his health insurance and poring over a power of attorney document whose purpose I couldn't ascertain. B-mom also remarked upon her support for Donald Trump's nascent presidential bid. He never really had a chance, did he? Update. A's dad is also here sitting next to B-mom, who now seems conflicted, as she is, quote, related to both parties. Update 2. In such a small place you hear everything apparently. The defense addy is going to testify at a preliminary hearing. So A's dad is off to get her. This probably means the hearing will be closed. Whatever humor there was to be found here has just evaporated. More updates as they become available. The next update came and was largely a bunch of boring legal jargon, but he did include the following statement. The victim's direct examination was relatively straightforward. She told everyone who she was, who Nick was, and what had happened. Out of respect for her, I won't go into details, but I will say that the things she described were brutal and disgusting to a degree far beyond what has previously been reported, and that her testimony was both assured and utterly convincing, which made having to listen to it all the more horrible. After this, Nick's arraignment was continuously getting delayed, but an inmate number appearing online showed that he was still in custody. This led to info that Nick, at the very least, has spent his 24th birthday in jail. Aside from all the coke and smooth jazz that was likely enjoyed on that day in celebration, the Kiwi Farms Emperor tacked a banner on the front page of the website that read, "Reminder that Nick Bate is still in jail. Happy birthday, LOL." Fast forward to January 19th. The The time for Chris Hansen's SmackDown finally arrived as a Kiwi Farms member attended the Nick Bates trials. To summarize, the defense and prosecution made the little girl go back through the events with Nick. His mother went up on the stand and babbled incoherently, but ultimately defended her son. When Nick appeared on the stand, he explained away all the molestation stories he had sent Anna, with the reasoning that Anna was telling him about a sexual encounter she had, and Nicholas just wanted to relate to the tomfoolery, but there was one problem. He said no one would believe him if he slept with an adult. Haha, silly Nick. So the logical story to tell was, that he molested his sister, obviously. Then, he admitted to the court that he was a pedophile, and that he enjoyed poop. But dear viewer, I'll ask you a question, and you may be shocked by the answer. Was the evidence presented enough to put Nick Bate behind bars? At the very bottom of the Kiwi Farms post, we see an official verdict. On the count of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse with a child, guilty. On the count of indecent assault of a person less than 13 years of age, guilty. More coke, more strippers, more smooth jazz. And for just 1 second, the entire world was at peace. A day after his guilty verdict, Anna was made aware of the outcome and was ecstatic. It feels like the end to a movie. Justice prevails, the innocent are avenged, and the fairy tale book is closed. Well, if the book was a robot chicken skit. But even as Nick's story comes to a close, I want to recognize that no amount of justice or years in prison Nick faces can remove the trauma that little girl faced at his hands. But, just maybe, this sentence can be a start to her recovery. Oh, and by the way, he still doesn't brush his teeth. Thank you so much for watching. This video has been in purgatory for literally months. I've been struggling to understand how to make good content and balancing YouTube with my full-time job, but I think this is going to be the start of something a bit more consistent. And if you want more content like this, comment down below who you want to see next, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thank you guys. Bye.